What is going on, brothers and sisters? I wanted to talk about the Magicraft roadmap here, just to bring some of these things to light for everyone who maybe doesn't look at these updates, just so we can all talk about what's coming in the future, have some chat in the comments as well, and just know what's happening in the next month, the next 2 months, and then the beginning of the next year in Q1. So they're listening to our feedback here, and coming this month in November, we should be seeing 2 initial magic sets, which should be the outfits that we start with, which means we have like a random relic, I presume, in there. And you can actually see in this image here, this is, I don't remember which sword this is. I'm not sure if this is the psychic sword or not. However, this is the helmet that prevents you from getting indiscriminate damage to 1%. And I believe this armor is the armor that reduces all damage by 25%. Could be wrong. Tell me in the comments below if you recall, just from these little sprites here. But I'm curious to see what kind of starters we're going to have. Right now, we just have the wizard robes, which has the extendo arms, which I really love. I think that's such a fun little relic. So I hope to see some more fun builds like that to have good starters with. Add 10 new monster mechanics in hard mode. That's huge. If you haven't seen the live streams or some of the VODs from the live streams, you know, I talk about it pretty often. I think hard mode is super easy. You can pretty much win with any build as long as you just kind of play accurately. If you try and force a build, yes, you can lose. I took my first loss in a long time from not just spamming the game and lagging it out entirely and not being able to see anything, but because I just had a bad build because I was trying to force butterflies and it just didn't work out in that scenario because I didn't have any good upgrades for it. But then we killed the butterflies the next run. So, you know, I can't wait to see what these 10 new monster mechanics are, because I do want a bit of a challenge in there. It feels too easy. It's just it's just normal mode with more HP, in my opinion, and it doesn't really do anything for me. A new sharing interface. I don't know what that means. Yeah, add sharing interface. Not sure. Like, is it some sort of multiplayer instance? I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Add normal difficulty passing time leaderboards. That's pretty cool. I really enjoy that. I think that's going to be really fun so people can try and find not only the best builds, but the fastest way through the levels and then compete for it. Maybe we can try doing some of that too if you all are interested when that does launch. Hit that like button down below and comment if that is something you would all like to see as some leaderboard challenges. Next is optimizing the newbie tutorial. I think that's pretty huge, honestly. You know, but at the same time, it's so irrelevant to me. Roguelikes are a specific breed, right? You have to be able to figure it out on your own, in a sense. You know, they kind of break it down for you. Maybe if they talk about, like, how passives work, I suppose. However, I think the game actually does a really good job of putting proper descriptions in. I don't think I've really ever read anything and didn't understand what the intent was behind it without, like, at a first glance. I didn't have to sit there and think about it. I've thought about, like, what some of the best combinations are and, like, what works better if I split before I get a multi-shot in or vice versa. How does it work? Where's the most effective DPS coming from? Like, that's some min-maxing stuff, but I've never seen something that's like, I need a better tutorial. So, you know, I don't know about that one. I would love to hear your opinion. So, like, do you guys think you need a better tutorial? I don't. I didn't. And so that's November. I think that's a pretty good November for after their early access launch, right? And then we've got December. 5 new types of spells. I hope these are active spells, okay? I would love to see a few more passives as well. However, I really want to see some more active spells as well as some more balancing between some of the spells. Some spells are just OP. Like, dragons. You get dragons and you get control and you get tracker. Game over. The game's done. Get that. Dragons, multi-hit, splits. You're done. The game's over. You just win. We got over like 20,000 DPS in that or something ridiculous. It was so big I couldn't even see the DPS. So I didn't have the spell transparency. Wasn't a time at that point though. Increase the number of level map types from 600 to 850. That's amazing. That's like the best thing about roguelikes, right? Like, you don't want to know a pattern. You don't want to know what you're going to get into. You want to be like, crap, I got this piece of crap layout again. Or you get like something super smooth and easy. So I'm curious to see what kind of layouts they're going to go with, what kind of spawn rates. I would love to see variables where different monsters are coming together that make it a lot harder. The snakes are the worst in my opinion, unless you've got like a big damage build. I hate the snakes, so I would love to see them in more. Add wand collection and more. So I'm assuming that just means the collection index over there, so you can see which wands you have collected and which wands you have not collected. I love the little collection index. I would love to see some achievements coming out too. I love achievements, especially a game like a roguelike. It really hits people's mentality for what they want to be doing in a game, and it adds to that replayability for a lot of people too, because they want to get those achievements. So definitely hope that's on their roadmap. It's not listed here, but I hope it does come out in the near future for them, or at least by launch time. And then that's it for the rest of this year. I think that's pretty good for the year. I mean, we went from the demo. We have 3 maps. You got to remember, this is an early access game. It's not fully launched yet. It would definitely be a little weak, in my opinion, for a fully launched game. However, it's also $10, so that's not bad at all. So Q1 of 24, and for those of you who don't realize, that's January, February, March, right? So in Q1, they're going to add Nightmare Mode. I hope it's better than how they did Hard Mode, right? Increased HP and monster hostility doesn't seem to matter. I don't know if that means more mob spawn, damage increases, etc. It just says mob hostility. That's the only thing that they've really done that I don't quite have an understanding of. However, it means nothing to me because I don't really feel a difference when I play the game. So I hope Nightmare Mode adds in like elite creatures. So increased HP, increased damage, different fight mechanics, go into like the Binding of Isaac route. I'm trying to think way back when I was playing that too, to where you could have elite versions of monsters that would have like poison attributes on them or other different attributes, as well as maybe like different spell modifiers of their own. So in these instances, like maybe these guys have some different passives equipped to them. So then their spells are also splitting and dealing damage. Or maybe they have a rare mob spawn where like the snakes shoot a laser beam. Like, I don't know. Like some cool little extra additives like that. That would definitely make the game harder, create more variety, so it's less easy to predict what's happening and being able to just like clear things, especially in that early game. The early game is really what matters a lot too, because once you're overpowered, everything dies, right? Add Chapter 4 map. So that means no more troll boss in Chapter 4. I'm curious to see what they're going to do there. Chapter 3 was very painful for a lot of people. Once I got used to the game, I found it pretty simple. A couple missteps will hurt you. However, once you understand how to make your spells, once you understand a good build, you'll be pretty okay. So I'm curious to see how Chapter 4 will go, especially with a Nightmare Mode. Like, that'll be massive. Add hidden characters. I love hidden characters. I think hidden characters are really fun. Binding of Isaac did an amazing job with their hidden characters. There's a freaking million of them. And it just adds a lot of variety to the game to have different starting points, different handicaps, different buffs. My favorite, I remember, I think his name was Kane, where, he gained power based off of the coins he had. So I would love to see a lot of things like that. I mean, I always kind of go back to the Binding of Isaac because it was probably one of my first huge roguelikes that I played. And I played Binding of Isaac since it first launched. And then I kind of teetered off. So, I would love to see some things kind of brought over from that genre. But I think they're doing a really good job so far. As long as they really keep up with this and the game keeps developing, the community is going to stay tight. It's going to be a really good game. So I have a lot of hope for this one. It's a lot of fun. So, and then more, of course. I'm curious to see what the more is. Maybe some more passive spells. Would love to see some new intricacies involved in here. Just better relics, too. Some of the relics are really good. The relics in the demo, trash. But now I definitely see myself going to get relics because there are some good ones. There are some really bad ones. I would love to see some tweaking on there. I would love to see some more unique ones that definitely change the mechanics of how we play, changes the visuals. I think the visuals are a big thing in a roguelite because we want to see what's happening and we want to see some goofy things too. So I would love to see more visual customization that goes throughout the time. But all right, brothers and sisters, that's going to wrap up our roadmap here. I think we're doing great. If you guys want to keep seeing Magicraft on the channel, make sure you're hitting that like button down below. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well. We've got a lot of crazy builds, and I've got more coming out this week, but they are from the stream we did on Monday. So if you want to go see it, go check out that old live content. And otherwise, I'll see you Monday night for more Magicraft or Friday for some multiplayer. So until then, stay shabby.